Hello and welcome to Talks with Tijjani. Bring another episode to you today. It's the fourth episode. I don't know why I did two fingers. Let's get that right. It's the fourth episode. And on this episode, I've got my brother from another mother, a long life friend from college, my business partner too, Emmanuel joining us. And we're going to go through our journey in terms of how we started our business and just everything. And he might reveal some stuff about me. I don't know. We'll just see where we go with this. But towards the end, we're going to touch on a serious topic. But I'm not going to go into that into too much detail. I'm going to bring Emmanuel on screen. So let's bring Emmanuel on screen. Let's go. Emmanuel, hi. How are you?
I'm well, Lawrence. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, man. Thank you for joining me. I'm just looking at the background there, and it looks like you snuck away, to do this meeting with me.
It's a busy household, so to get any quiet, I need to really tuck myself away inside the corner of this house. So this is what I've done. You could see some barriers. So you can see I'm tucked in the corner right now. So that's the best I could do. My apologies, but hopefully it's good enough.
No apologies at all, man. First of all, thank you for taking the time out and you're having to barricade yourself in a room just to so we can get 20 minutes on this conversation. I'm really excited about this convo because Sheridan knows me really well, but Emmanuel's like the other side of me essentially, if it's not Sheridan I'm speaking to, it's Emmanuel. My call is literally Sheridan and Emmanuel, and that's because we're business partners, but we'll get into that. Let's start off with you, Emmanuel. So for the people that don't know you, who are you? Tell us a bit about yourself.
So my name's Emmanuel. I'm the creative director, technical director behind web design development company Happy to Host, company that myself and Lawrence run. We've been in this game now for 12 years?
Yeah, it has been 12 years, right?
12 years, 12 long years, the hustle, the grind, the highs and lows. It's been a wonderful journey, wonderful, crazy journey. But even before that, I met Lawrence in college on AVCE ICT, Advanced Vocational ICT. Yeah, so, you've given them the story of how you got to college and what you were doing in college. So in your first year, I was doing mathematics, electronics, and something else I can't remember. And they finished me complete. So I had to restart the second year. That first year was a write-off, complete write-off, and I knew it. But
okay,
yeah.
Just before you go on there, sorry to interrupt you. Is you say it's a write-off, but for the people that are listening, what do you mean? I think sometimes we don't like to say the word of what happened. Just think about where you are.
I failed. Okay, I failed. Oh my days, I failed, mate. Yeah, I failed. It was horrible. It was horrible. During the classes, I thought I was getting it, but then at times I didn't. Mathematics, I just knew I wasn't getting it, so I was just chancing it. But that was horrible. This was my attempt to solidify my dad's wishes of me being an accountant by taking that mathematical path, and that just failed miserably. It was terrible. So yes, Lawrence, I failed. Okay, you got
hey, mate.
I failed. Yeah.
I failed too. But it's about where we are today. The journey. The road is not always straight. You might have to go under stuff, climb over barriers, and without ruining the rest of it. But you're a very successful individual. So I know you're a creative director for obviously Happy to Host and technical director and so many other hats that you wear.
Yes, as we do.
That is your side hustle, and what do you do in your other bits of life, your day to day as well?
So right now I contract for a financial company. So most of my days spent, now it's great because working from home has afforded me a bit more flexibility in doing what I do, being able to meet deadlines and also, juggle what's essentially the full-time work. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. But of course, the aim is, to be able to jump onto Happy to Host full-time, so I could join you, Lawrence, waking up at, well, okay, not waking up at 5.
I was going to say, no way.
I don't want to wake up at 5. I don't want to wake up at 5.
No, but I think that's why we work, Emmanuel, because like you're a nocturnal creature and I'm like early rides, so we work, man, we're opposites of what we work.
100%. So yeah, I mean that's the ultimate dream, to be able to jump onto Happy to Host full-time and go full throttle on that. But for now, we're doing what we're doing, and it's been a weird and wonderful journey. I mean, even from when we did meet in college, it wasn't that straightforward. You and I bumped heads quite a lot. I used to cuss you about your big head. You used to cuss me about my lanky spider self. We went back and forth.
It's true.
We went back and forth. It was good times. My best friend at the time was Valerio in the class. Remember Valerio?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. We went to the gym together. Did all sorts of madness, but but we got on together quite well when we did start to get along, and we've been through it all in terms of starting up businesses, with Lorenzo, the clothing line, going to raves, I even bought, remember that 106? Yeah, Sherry, listen, that 106 was something, man. Don't cost the 106. Yeah. I bought Lawrence's 106. Then Lawrence, you've got another 106 in it.
Wow. Okay. We got some stuff to break down there. Because you just dropped a lot of information. Let's break some stuff down there. So, yes, Emmanuel is right. The first time me and Emmanuel encountered each other was in our AVC ICT class, and I'm gonna be honest, Emmanuel, I didn't like you because you used to do this annoying beatboxing thing, and I'm like,
will you keep quiet?
I'm trying to study. I'm trying to get my grades. I was like, why is this long guy?
Oh my! I said long guy. What's that long guy? What's this long guy? Long guy,
It's just so disrespectful for you to say something like that.
What's that? No.
I don't know how we, got over the beatboxing and distractions and everything, but fast forward, Happy to Host wasn't our first business venture. Our first business venture was, as Emmanuel mentioned, and some of you saw embarrassing pictures a couple of weeks ago, and Emmanuel was, again, the creative director, along with somewhat Michael Macedon,
yes,
helped with the logo as well, helped with the design of it. So I had the idea in X, Y, and Z, but Emmanuel was really the creative guy behind it. So yes, we had our clothing line, and we had our friends help, and support us, which they did really well. Yeah. And then that didn't, we weren't really feeling that. It was just a thing we were doing at the time. Then we went on to doing raves. And we actually did our first rave with actually Malik. It was Lorenzo and Berry. I can't remember the actual name of the rave, but so we tried that. And I will never forget the time where I'm into this, the rave thing. And then I went to go and do an announcement on the mic, and I froze.
That you had.
And then he's suffering, man. Help him out. So that didn't work for us. And then we came up with the idea of Happy to Host on the back of our lessons, which is transformed into a web design agency today. So do you want to talk about that bit of the journey, Emmanuel?
Yeah, sure. So we started out in 2008, and this was during college, isn't it? University. Yeah. During those times, anyway. We started off with Front Page, I think, was the tool that we used back then. A very basic tool, very basic HTML, very basic this, basic that. We needed to build a clientele base, doing projects for free, left, right, and center. And these websites, you look back and say, yeah, fair enough, you were just starting out, but they were whack. But for the time, they served the purpose. we were able to put businesses online, you know, and that was a good thing for them to be able to promote their businesses to an audience that they wouldn't reach on a day-to-day. But over the years, we've just upskilled, you know, built up a resilience, you know, because there's been projects that we've bidded for that we've won, that we've just lost out on. We've been in the right places at the right times that have afforded us the ability to, you know, work with Premier League footballers, artists in the entertainment industry, which has been a huge blessing for us. You know, it's, besides making our portfolio look great, it's just, you know, it's sort of approved our ability to build, you know, professional public-facing websites that serve that particular purpose of allowing people to go online to visit a company or an individual and to find out more about them. So from responsive to desktop, from, you know, standard HTML, which is you'd have to literally call us up every day to make changes to text, to images, to now moving on to CMS, a content management system, which is our focus now. We focus on WordPress. And now that allows people to actually update the websites by themselves. They come to us to build it and they can go ahead and update that themselves. So it's been a glorious journey where we've improved, you know, massively. We look back on the journey, we're grateful for it. You know, we've had to have gone through the hard times in order for us to now be where we are today, and indeed long may it continue. So yeah, we're just pushing forward to do greatness and to do wonderful things.
Yeah, I like that. I love the way you sum that up, like greatness. And you know, normally I would have something else to add to that, but I'm just like, nah, you summed that up well. It has been a journey. It really has been a journey. And I think what people don't realize is, like, I don't know how I should be saying this, but when a client goes, can you do this? You're like, yeah, but we'll do that. Then I'll get back and like, Emmanuel, how are we going to do this? Literally, how are we going to do this? And then because you're hungry and you're working, you find a way to deliver what that client wants. And I've got to say a big shout out to Emmanuel for putting up with me for 12 years, right? Because if anyone knows me, I can be intense sometimes, you know, like, we need to get this done, this is this, did it. But Emmanuel's always chilled and calm and relaxed.
You say that. But you know, there's been times where I've just gone off radar.
Oh my God. That brings me to a point. This is the story there. So we had a deadline, right? And I'm trying to get hold of Emmanuel. I'm messaging him, I'm emailing him, you know. I'm always feeling like I'm his side bae, you know. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm a bit worried about this guy. Let me go to his house. Go to his house. I've been living at home with his parents at this time. I knock on the door and I'm like, oh, hello, auntie, hello, uncle, you know. And then they're like, yeah, he's upstairs. I'm like, what? He's upstairs. So they don't call him. They're like, go upstairs and see him. So I go up and knock on the door. Like, open the door slowly. I just see Emmanuel at his desk, you know, doing stuff. I'm like, yo, I've been holding you. What's going on? And he would turn around like this and be like, oh. I'm like, yeah. That's when Emmanuel used to just go missing, and you know. But like, yeah, that's things we had to overcome and encounter, and as the business has pushed through, you know, communication a lot better. We've taken what we're doing really serious. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a bit of background, you know, about Happy to Host and our friendship and our misgivings, should we say. But there's one that is hilarious that I'm going to bring up, and I think it leads nicely into the next segment of this, of when we finished college. And you know the story I'm talking about, buddy. we finished college, and then we're like, university. Where did you go university first, Emmanuel?
Oh, jeez. Oh yeah, listen, I'll explain it to you again, because it's still not getting through to you, Lawrence, yeah? Okay, right. So my interest was in building computer games technology, yeah? building computer games. Sorry, it was building computer games. Now, I did a search for this thing, for this course, and the only place I could find it was a university in Scotland, at the time, right? University of Paisley. So yes, I went to Scotland, Paisley for a year. I did not eat any haggis, which everyone keeps asking me, how's haggis taste? How's it taste?
I don't know.
I don't even know what haggis is. What is it?
Wait, and just for disclaimer, we're not saying there's anything wrong with haggis for our Scottish viewers.
No.
Please, Emmanuel.
There's nothing wrong with haggis.
Small.
But listen, it's the way you guys are asking me, asking, what? Well, Scotland is all about haggis, mate. There's some good things up in Scotland, but, I was homesick. After a year, I couldn't hack it anymore, so I came back. I admitted the truth. I had admitted the truth to myself. It wasn't working, so came back home, Westminster, and I joined up with you again, didn't I? Yeah. So
Emmanuel, I feel like you're missing a bit of the story here. So yes, you came back, but did everyone know you was back?
And there goes the zoom. There goes the zoom into my face. Okay, right. No. People didn't know I was back. People don't know I was back. I had to. So I left the year a bit early. Let me say. I came back home. So I entrusted my brothers, because I was sharing the room with my brothers at that time. I trusted them with the knowledge that I was back in the UK, and we had a plan to ensure that I could last.
Wait. Sorry, mate. I have to correct you there because you just said something. You said I informed my brothers I was back in the UK. Scotland is still part of the UK, my brother.
No. Yeah, you're right. Back in London. Sorry. Oh, jeez. Back in London. Yeah. Okay. Back in London, and I then trusted my brothers with that knowledge, and that it wouldn't leak, and they'll look after me. So I was in my room one time. I thought that my parents had gone out. And Mom came in. Okay. Hi, Mara. What are you doing here? Bro.
I think that's one of my favorite stories. That and that and some others. But like I said, we've got a short amount of time, and I'm aware that you've got stuff to go and do. But I'll tell you, there's so many stories about both of us that we could go on and talk about. But I think one of the things that I'm keen to touch on is how lockdown has been for you. It's been a difficult time for a lot of people, but particularly you. How has lockdown been for you?
Yeah. You may not, for some viewers, you may not be aware, but I lost my dad to COVID-19, and this was pretty hard for me to take. For me, my siblings, I have 2 younger brothers, 2 younger sisters, so there's 5 of us in total, and my dad's passing came very shortly after my wife had given birth to my second child, our son. And during the time of the birth, my dad was in hospital, and our only method of contact with him was via a nurse or via a doctor. And during the last days, we could only be with him via video link, because he had been heavily sedated for a good number of weeks. So he was in the hospital for a total of about a month, and then on 3rd of May he passed away. I was telling him things like, your grandson is here, and my sister as well, who gave birth to a baby girl. So he had a new grandson. He had a new granddaughter. He had my daughter, who he already knew. Thank goodness that he actually got to experience one of his grandchildren. But yeah, it was just, yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. And, you know, for me, it just put into perspective, you know, when they were talking about the numbers rising of deaths per day, it actually really hit home then. That actually, these are people's lives that are being, you know, destroyed, families being destroyed, you know, going through such emotional pain at the loss, you know, of having lost a family member due to this virus. It was hard. It was hard. But, you know, thankfully, due to friends, family rallying around at that time, you know, we're still getting through it, don't get me wrong. You know, I still have my moments, miss him. But, you know, time is a healer, and, you know, memories will eventually turn, you know, to just remembering happy times, and, you know, just carrying on his legacy. That's what he would have wanted for us. I remember someone was told me that, you know, when you're building a legacy, you might not actually get to experience that legacy that you're building. The legacy isn't for you, you know. So yeah, that really resonated with me, and that's kind of hit home as well. So yeah, right now we're just trying to keep it together, taking each day as it comes. You know, soon it's going to be the realization when these major events, you know, Christmas, New Year, you know, my dad is going to be here in 2021. 2020 is going to, where we've had to physically leave him behind, but, you know, in the memories he'll continue for sure. You know, stories will crop up, you know, my kids will know about him. You know, Lawrence, when you met him, you knew what type of guy he was, you know, hard-working man. You know, it's your typical story. He came from Nigeria, he set up shop over here. He was an accountant. He reached so many people on a personal level as well. It was incredible, because I've seen a side to him that I'd never seen personally. You know, being a child, you don't necessarily see these things. You know, it's either him telling you off, or, you know, you're joking around. But when you see this side of things, and how he was with his clients, you know, even a young guy by the name of Andre Spence, who reached out to me on social media. He was a client of my dad, and, you know, he used to put my dad on his social media saying, "Hey guys, this is my accountant, Jerry." My dad's name was Jeremiah. "Jerry, what do you have? What tips do you have for those who are starting a business?" And, you know, my dad was able to express his services that way, or give people tips, you know, content. I never knew my dad was a content creator like that. And, it was just, yeah, it was great to see. It was great to see. And yeah, it's just things like that, you know, that come up every now and again. People's stories about him, you know, those things help to push me through, you know. So it's the memory and the legacy and what he's instilled in me, you know, in my siblings, in the people around him, that carries me forward, that helps me to carry on.
Mate, that was wonderful. And there's just a few questions that I've got for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I would even take a step back. When Emmanuel was going through this, I didn't actually know until towards the end. So you said Dad was in hospital for about a month. I think it was in the last week and a half that I found out. And this guy was keeping it together. He was still turning up for the business. I speak to him, he would ask me how I'm doing. And then not randomly, because obviously it's not a random event for you, but then he told me, and I was just like, I can't believe you've been going through this and, you know, been holding your head high. And I think that's just a testament to your character and how strong you are. Because sometimes I think we underestimate how strong we are as individuals. And yeah, that just completely blew my mind in terms of how you were able to keep things together. And it might be on the outside, but also just your family keeping, because you're the eldest, you know. And like in our culture, you know, if the dad passes away, next in line to look after the household is the eldest son. and this was just thrust upon you. Like you said, you just had a newborn as well. And I just think the balance of emotions and how you've actually conducted yourself and just dealing with everything it's nothing short of being amazing, you know. And I think with your dad as well, your dad was a great man, and it's the little things that we don't appreciate there and then. So I remember you saying to me that when we hit 10 years, that your dad sent you a text message expressing how proud of you he was. And that shocked me as well. And he told you to tell me as well, you know, to pass that on as well, that actually someone is like actually following our journey closely. They might not say it every day, but the fact that he remembered it was 10 years since we started our first business, it blew me away. And I think that just shows the type of man that he is. So how have you tried, or I know you touched on it a bit earlier, but how have you tried to manage your grief?
Well, I remember speaking with you actually, and you told me not to bottle it up, and I think that's probably one of the most important pieces of information that I've taken from you, especially in this process of going through the grieving, because I do bottle things up a lot inside, but you know, being able to let go in my own personal space, you know, it's actually helped, not to drain out the tears, but it's helped me to, you know, understand and realize the truth. And I keep going through this process, you know, it keeps coming to me like, actually, my dad's gone. It sounds silly, but the truth just keeps hitting me over and over again. And I've realized now that as time has gone on, that's reduced. It has reduced because I have allowed myself to come to that realization that, you know, he's gone. I've allowed the tears to flow. You know, I designed the pamphlet that was given out. You know, the celebration of life. And as I was designing it, oh man, it was a roller coaster of emotions. Every night I touched it, I would shed tears. You know, there were the hymns that we were to sing at the funeral. Even reading the hymns, I had to now copy and paste it into the design, and I'd read the hymns itself, and it would just tear me to pieces. And I don't know why I did that to myself, but I felt it was my responsibility to actually put my touch on that, because I wanted to make sure that it was perfect. And I'm like that. If something needs to be done, I'll do it. I'll do it because I know I'll do it to the best of my ability, rather than, you know, perhaps leaving it to a company who are in it just to, you know, make their money and provide that service. It requires some emotional input. So I did it, you know, at the cost of, you know, being upset and everything. But, you know, going through all of this and then speaking about it, you know, speaking to family members, speaking to you, Laura, speaking to friends, that's certainly helped. It has certainly helped. And I've never gotten tired of, you know, friends checking up on me, because it's at times like this, when the funeral is done, things can go quiet. But during those times that you realize, actually, these are my true friends, you know, those who are keeping tabs on me even after the fact. And it's been that, but yeah, mainly it's been being able to open up, and not to keep it bottled up. It was difficult to begin with, but it definitely you need to break that down. It definitely needs to be broken down, and you just need to express yourself. So now, you know, I don't go through it as much. When I speak to my siblings about it, you know, they're the same. I've advised them of the same thing, and you know, we're all just, you know, keeping each other intact frequently. You know, started a WhatsApp group now. Just everyone saying good morning, this, that, how's everyone? You know, just being able to keep tabs on everyone else throughout the day. It's it's gotten easier. But for me, that's what's been key. That's what's been vital.
And I think there's something you touch on there about being able to express yourself and let the emotions go. I think that's something in being a black man that we are taught almost not to do that, you know. So once you've had that kind of training, it's about going against that grain. So at first it feels alien in doing that. So no, I commend you, you know, for being open. I remember you talking to me, and you know, I remember one time you just phoned me randomly to talk to me, and I was happy because Emmanuel doesn't do that. Emmanuel doesn't like other people, you know, and you didn't bother me at all. But I felt like I was doing something to support you there, you know. But and again, I just can't think about the emotion you went through of like, there's, you know, I've just had my second child, and at the same time I'm saying bye to my dad. And I think, you know, when you look for a silver lining, I think that was probably something that I think did help you as well, in terms of there was something for you to put your energy into and to distract you at times.
For sure.
But honestly, like, speak to Sheridan, speak to other people, and the way you just carried yourself and the way you've been strong for everyone. And I'd have to give a shout out to Mummy Akintaro, man. She is one strong woman, you know, and yeah, my hat goes off to her as well. Emmanuel, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I know your dad's looking down at us now, and he is proud of you. And there are key moments that have been part of special moments in your life, and your dad's been there. And I always used to remember just looking at your dad and looking at you, and it was just that smile of like, that's my son. That's my son.
That's it.
Very cool, but that's my son. You know? So no,
for sure.
Really appreciate you sharing that with us. And I think there's just a few things we probably should touch on, you know, is that you're right. When we look on the news and they're saying numbers, you're like, oh yeah, that's numbers. And then you would just turn and carry on with what you're doing. Yeah. But when I found that your dad passed, I was like, whoa. And seeing your pain, I was like, actually, they're just not numbers. You can't go into the hospital and say bye. You can't, you know, that this is done over a video chat saying goodbye. So that made me realize that actually this COVID is a real thing. And I think, you know, all of us, not just the youngsters, because they get a lot of slack at the moment, have a duty to make sure we are protecting each other, because life is precious. And yeah, I think that's the bit I'm just going to say about COVID. I'm not going to get into a whole kind of preaching anti-COVID and this or that, but I think speaking to you and being with you, is COVID is very real, people. Take it serious and look after yourself. So I'm going to give the floor to you in kind of like, and this is that we ask all our guests, is what advice would you give to your younger self? And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be about business. It can be about anything you've learned. And then also, where can we find out more information about you or your business, or our business, should I say? I feel like I'm doing a very guilty plug here about my own business too, but you know, about or anything like that. So yeah, the floor is yours. Over to you, Emmanuel.
To my younger self. I think first thing I'd probably say is, you know, beatbox more, because that brings you joy. Even though Lawrence hates it, beatbox more. I think that's the first thing. But no seriousness. I think the advice I'd give to myself is to go for it, because the worst possible response you can get from anybody is no. And how much is that actually going to hurt? Don't be afraid of hearing no. You know, there'll be plenty of doors for you to walk through. You will eventually get a yes, but don't be afraid of asking. Don't be afraid of hearing no. Yeah, it just means that wasn't right for you, and you need to try something else. I think that's probably what I'll give myself. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Emmanuel. And where can we find out about your web design agency or our web design agency?
Yeah, for sure. So you can check us out. Our website, happytohost.com. That's HAPPY. Yeah, as the. I've always wanted to do that, and I got it wrong. Imagine, I got it wrong. Yeah, you've had practice, whatever, man. You've had practice. Happytohost.com. You can reach us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Happy to Host Ltd. So that's where you can check out all our work, our services, and what we can do for you.
Brilliant. Manuel, I want to say a big thank you for coming on the show, opening up about your story as well. And yeah, my stomach hurts from laughing at just some of the memories of us, growing up together.
Indeed.
And I just want to thank you for being an awesome friend and an even better business partner.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And guys, if you like that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Information about Happy to Host will be in the description. And hope you have a great week, people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.